deep center field. Back goes Sawinski to the warning track. Back at the wall. It's out of here. Tyler Naquin with a 3-run homer.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shea Station podcast. It is episode 97. It's Thursday, September 8th. The Mets have just squeaked out of Pittsburgh with a series win, and the NL East race is getting real tight today. We're brought to you by Bear Burger. As always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Jack, aka Jolly Olive. Joining me is Jerry Blevins, rocking the very sweet Apple sweatshirt from our store. Jerry, how you doing today, man?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. This is the hoodie that I chose. First of all, it's super, super comfy, embroidered. So it's got a little bit of fancy to it, and the apple's a little subtle. And it's chilly out here this morning. Like, it was chilly. It's fall weather, my favorite. My son at 7:30 this morning, when he woke up, decided he wanted to go outside, and he set the alarm off because he was the first to walk out the door. So my wife bought him this new set of chalks, like sidewalk chalk. He's all about drawing in the driveway. So he's like, first thing in the morning, does all his morning routine and then heads straight out the door to grab the chalk. So I threw on a little hoodie and it worked out perfect. I could see my breath utter, like, just a little subtly this morning, knowing it's fall. We have NFL football today.
Oh my God.
We have Mets baseball today. We're in the thick of it, man.
Yeah, man.
And it's hoodie season.
I missed hoodie season so much. Over in New York, it's a smidge below 70 degrees. So I was like, all right, it's a long sleeve day. Bring it back out.
But
why not?
In the morning though, when you're out, when your son wants to be outside at 7:30, there's lots to do. You're going to need some hoodie time.
Yeah, my son usually doesn't do that, but I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of football season, the Jomboy Media office just had their fantasy football draft. Me and Justin Pennick of Talkin' Giants and Lucas Diversa of the sales team put together a pretty nice team. We had the third overall pick. Who do you think we took with the third overall pick, if you had to guess?
Is it PPR, non-PPR?
It's half PPR.
Third, you either got McCaffrey or Dalvin.
We went Justin
Derrick
Jefferson.
Henry.
We took a wide
I like
out.
it. I don't mind it there. You bucked tradition there.
Yeah, we were a big wide receiver team. That's what we're hoping.
Full PPR.
Out.
I'm a huge endorser of that.
Really?
But McCaffrey comes with the. We don't want to get into it, but he comes with a little bit of injury risk, so I don't blame you.
I was a little spooked by him. I wasn't willing to take him. We are going to dive into the roller coaster that was this Mets Pirates series. The season ended, and then it kicked back off with a doubleheader. There's lots to get into. It is presented to you guys by Bear Burger. We love Bear Burger. You know that by now. They're sticking with us throughout this ensuing playoff run. They're a burger joint, but they're not bogged down by labels. A menu filled with options for everyone, regardless of your preferences. And now you can create your own favorite burger. They take burgers very seriously at Bear Burger. It's literally in their name. It makes sense. And their menu's got options for all. Build your own creation and let us know Jomboy sent you, and then tweet it to @BearBurger on Twitter for a chance to win a Bear Burger gift card. It's going to go a long way. They got specials for you all day long. The lunch special is 12 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Find a location near you. There probably is one, regardless of where you are. They got the kitchen and bar happy hour. It's hands down the best in New York City. $1 for a PBR, $5 for a mule or a martini, half off for bottles of wine. Anything you want to drink, they got at their bar. Available 7 full hours every Monday through Friday from noon to 7 p.m. Go whenever time you want, though. If you just have a hankering for a burger, that's the place to be. Click the link in our description to find yourself at the best happy hour, tastiest burger joint, and overall great spot at order.bearburger.com. Thank you to them once again. And Jerry, are you ready to get into it all?
I am ready.
Let's do it,
Let's
baby.
do this.
Hit that funky music, Jack. All right. The Mets rolled up to one of the most beautiful ballparks in the nation. They got rained out on the first day, so the game started on game 2, and the Mets were hoping to snap a skid after losing 2 in a row to the Nationals, but things kicked off pretty similarly to how they've been. The Mets stranded 6 runners in the first 3 innings alone. Alonso with a pair of crushing double plays. McCann flies out with 2 runners on to end the second inning, and the Bucks grab an early lead off Taijuan Walker with a Michael Chavis sacrifice fly, and it gets worse before it gets better. Rodolfo Castro, remember him from last year at Citi Field? Well, he's homering against us again. A 2-run homer off the foul pole, 3-0 Bucks. 4 of Castro's 11 career home runs are against the Mets, because of course they are. And then Starling Marte got hit by a pitch in the first inning, and then he exits in the fourth after he was unable to grip the baseball. We're still waiting on the good news from him. He's considered day-to-day right now, but an IL stint is possible. And Taijuan Walker just did not have his sharpest stuff. 5 innings and 4 earned runs for him. That ERA on the season goes up to 3.6. He has a 6.25 mark in the second half, so similar story to last year. Hopefully he can straighten it out in September. Mitch Keller, on the other hand, looked great. That curveball had some real zip. He shuts down the Mets for 6 innings in this game. Michael Givens, though, has another scoreless inning, so good for him. And with 2 outs in the 7th, the Mets get a McCann single. We're going to talk a lot about James McCann today, I think. And then Brandon Nimmo crushes a 2-run homer to right center to make it a 4-2 ball game. But the Mets were out of this one in the 9th inning. Montez de Oca, he comes in for the 2nd inning, and he kind of lets things get out of hand. Gets 2 strikeouts, but surrenders runs on a wild pitch and an RBI single. Tommy Hunter, our guy from last episode, came in and led up an absolute missile to the Cruz missile, O'Neal Cruz, a 2-run homer. It's 8-2 Bucks at this point, and the Mets go quietly. McCann gets 2 hits, but Alonso goes 0 for 4 with 2 double plays and 4 left on base. The Mets go 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They lose 8-2, and in the middle of September, their season officially ends. It was a good run.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, a couple things. Taijuan Walker does not look great. Number 2, O'Neal Cruz has some sick pop.
Oh my God, dude. He obliterates baseball so easily.
What a fun person to watch play baseball. I love a left-handed hitter, a giant shortstop at 6'6". He's full of energy. Very cool.
Jerry, did they ever let you play shortstop?
Mets, because this one felt horrible.
Yeah, this one felt really bad. Did they ever let you play shortstop, by the way?
I did in high school for one game because we had nobody else.
Because you could have been an O'Neal Cruz type, You got the height, you got the power.
He's got me a little bit. He's probably a 70 on the power.
It's
maybe
close.
65 on raw power.
I think
I'm more
close.
on the other end. I'm like a 25.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, any thoughts from
2080 scale, by the way? But that's for
weird.
A different date.
I register at a 0 on the 2080 scale, actually.
you fall under.
I'm an anomaly. That's all it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anything else from game 1? Again, there's not much to say.
This one like we said it. This felt horrible. This felt really bad. Mets Twitter as a whole was, not great.
Not great.
Yeah. Then the rain out was at least we get to wallow in this for another day.
But I just didn't wake them up. I really thought that the rain out would kind of give them a day to soak in it, really consider what happened against Washington. And then they came out and they just looked flat. A lot of defensive miscues again. Didn't come through in big spots like they usually have. And that led us to the doubleheader where Buck actually did something I really liked. He shifted up the lineup a little bit, which is something Buck doesn't do a lot.
That is game 2. Let's hear it. Game 2 is Chris Bassitt, our fearless leader, as he tries to rescue all of Mets fandom from the precipice of a dark abyss as they plunge into the darkness.
Wow.
Does he pull us back? Wait and find out. That new lineup that you spoke of jumped on the board right away in the first inning as Jeff McNeil drives in from the cleanup spot on a sac fly. That was Pete Alonso's double, batting in the 2-hole. 2-hole Peter Alonso, kind of like it. Not so bad stuff. But they put up 1 in the first. Bassitt, our leader here, throws up a bunch of zeros. That leads us into the 4th inning. We got a Vogelback single, a Mark Canha hit by pitch because that's what Mark Canha does. Then Tyler Naquin, you might have heard a little sneak preview on the intro of our podcast. He hits a 3-run home run. That puts the Mets up 4-0. That was a beautiful shot, much needed. It had been a long time since he has had an extra base hit. Guess what? Right after that, Eduardo Escobar decides to go back-to-back from the left side. That makes it 5-0, and that would be all you need for Chris Bassitt as he was masterful. Got into a little bit of trouble in the 6th, led us in and out of trouble with only 1 run. He ends up going 7, gives up 5 hits, that 1 earned run in the 6th inning, a walk, and 10 punch outs. Seth Lugo comes in and throws the last 2 innings looking really solid. Gave up a couple of hits, but was dominant with his stuff. And Chris Bassitt is our savior. He does pull us back. We feel good. We get that first very important win that makes us capable of taking a series against the lowly Pirates. Thank you, Chris Bassitt, for being our leader. He gets the W.
Love it. Chris Bassitt looked really good. That curveball looked amazing. He was toying with Pirates hitters the whole game. Looked really confident out there. I always think back to that Padres outing in June where it looked like Bassitt was a little bit lost. He said in his post-game presser, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going wrong. And it's just a complete 180 from that moment. Bassitt looks like he could take on Game 1 of a playoff series, and I'd feel very comfortable with him there. Mets bats wake up. Tyler Naquin, we talked about it last episode, how he kind of had good numbers against every Pirates pitcher that was lined up, and he gets into these games because of Barnte leaving early, takes full advantage of that spot. He had good numbers in the series. Also, even on his outs, a lot of deep flyouts to the warning track as well. Looked like he was really seeing the ball well, and Eduardo Escobar stays hot. Like, we're getting April Eddy back a little bit. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, what'd you think of Alonso being protected by Lindor? He moved up to the 2 spot. McNeil went from basically the 6th, 7th, or 8th all the way into a cleanup.
Yeah,
how'd you like it?
I get why McNeil was the choice to put into the 4 hole. I don't know if it was the best spot for him. Obviously, he got a couple big hits here and there. But Alonso in the 2 looked much more comfortable. It looked like the pressure kind of fell off his shoulders a little bit. And that first at bat, he took 2 fastballs that are kind of in his wheelhouse, but were below the zone. He took them both. And then he got a fastball inside, which is kind of a pitch he's been struggling with recently. And he just turned on it beautifully, ripped it down the line. It was a great at bat. He got 2 hits that day. So I think the change was a good fix for him. I don't think it's going to be permanent either. I think this was just kind of something to jumpstart him and get him back into his groove a little bit. Because if Alonso's not batting 4th, I don't know who is, because I don't think it's going to be Vogie. He's been cold. I think McNeil, we like him much more in that 6 through 8 where he takes great at-bats and really lengthens the lineup. But it worked for this game, and that's all that matters. The Mets needed to win.
I agree. It was a good win. They got up early, actually punched in a run with runners in scoring position. They did something that they've done all season basically, and score in the first, score early. It's been a while, but it was nice to see them do that and then get a big number. That's like what you need. Number. That's what these teams. That's what the separator is from the bottom of the barrel teams in the league, and then the top is they're able to stop the bleeding. But the big 3-run home run and then getting that 4th one with Escobar, seeing Escobar hit another one from the left side. Very promising, man.
Yeah.
And his post-game interview, him and Alan, the translator, it's great. He's smiling. He's got big smiles. I think he spoke some Japanese as well.
Crazy.
He's mixing it up. Trilingual.
Yeah, and Seth Lugo came in at the end, basically ensured that we had the deGrom, Ottavino, Diaz combo for the nightcap with 2 great innings. He has a 1.4 ERA in the second half. He's been special. So the Mets take the first game of the doubleheader. They ensure another split, which is what they've done for the past 2.5 years in doubleheaders. And they go into the nightcap looking very favorable with Jacob deGrom on the hill. deGrom actually got off to kind of a weird, rocky start where he allowed a couple bloop hits to Cruz and the 2-hitter whose name I'm forgetting, so I'm just going to move on. But he gets a double play right after that to end the first inning, and that would be the closest the Pirates came to getting to him all night long. But meanwhile, in the second inning, the Mets roar for a much-needed 4-run rally. They loaded the bases thanks to some walks and another Escobar hit. Nimmo draws a walk to score the first run, and Johan Oviedo throws one away to let Escobar score. He gets a great read on it, and then Alonso walks, and Lindor, who goes down 0-2, kind of just taps the fastball out of the zone down the right field line. We haven't seen him do that in a while, which was nice. That brings home 2 runs, and it's 4-0 Mets. Later on in the 4th, James McCann gets another hit. We're just saying that September might be his month. Who knows? Alonso singles as well in the 2-hole again. 1 run scores on another Lindor double. He really drove that one to center field, which is a nice sign. And McNeil singles home 2 runs to make it 7-0 Mets in the 4th inning. This one was over before it began as Jacob deGrom just dominated the Pirates. They did not stand a chance. 7 shutout innings for deGrom, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 8 punchies. He lowers his ERA to 1.66. I don't know if you heard Keith's reaction on the air when Carey read that number, but but it was hysterical. We'll take that to the bank. deGrom didn't allow another hit from the first inning to the 6th inning, which is crazy. Canna and Naquin later on smacked back-to-back doubles in the 7th to pour it on. Escobar gets his 3rd hit of the night. He get a 4th one later for another RBI. 9-0 Mets. The only guy to not get in on the party was Dan Vogelbach, but finally in the 9th he gets his first hit of the day, an RBI single. He goes 1 for 6. The Mets go up 10-0. I just want to throw this in here. Terrence Gore got an at-bat. I'm very happy for him. It's rare that you get to see him take an at-bat. He's a pinch runner kind of guy. He gets the at-bat in the 9th. He does strike out, but it was nice to see. And then Ottavino and Alex Claudia, who came up with the club to be the extra man, they combined for 2 scoreless innings to seal a dominant Mets win. The Mets refreshingly go 8 for 18 with runners in scoring position. Escobar gets 4 hits. The Mets get 17 hits total thanks to multi-hit games from Alonso, Lindor, McNeil, Canna, Naquin, and Escobar, as I mentioned before. And Pirates hitters 4 through 9 go 0 for 22 with 8 strikeouts against Mets pitching. This was the exact dominant, poured-on win that the Mets needed, I think, to get their mojo back. They get a day off today, but they got to be riding high after that.
Good one. Yeah, put up a double-digit runs. That was nice. That's what they needed. It was made for a long day on a doubleheader. It's and a long flight to Miami, but I guarantee you they were having a lot more smiles on the flight than they would have. You know, that was a good way to have a long day, is to get everybody kind of going. So
yeah, team win, everyone contributes. That's exactly what this lineup needed.
Yeah, plus deGrom, you know, he didn't have his best stuff, but he found a way. He figured it out. He started mixing up his pitches a little bit more. That was nice to see that he's comfortable in being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Saw a few more changeups, which I know we talked about recently. I don't think he struck out anybody with that pitch, but still mixing it up more. And he really got into a rhythm after kind of a weirdly shaky first inning where he kind of had to compose himself a little bit. And Edwin Diaz doesn't get into this game too. Edwin Diaz hasn't pitched in what'll now be 8 days with them being off today, which is a little bit, I don't know how to feel about it. Not ideal.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
But again, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
I thought he was going to throw the 9th for sure. I was shocked to see that he didn't, but you know, whatever the case may be, they got the new lefty Alex Claudio in the game. It's always good to see we got another lefty.
Yeah.
So
another
they were
guy
like, hey, we're going to use him.
Yeah, I was a little perplexed by it. I thought the plan was just going to be deGrom, Otto, Diaz to get everybody an inning of work, because I think Otto hadn't thrown in 5 days, so he definitely needed it as well. But you know what? If Diaz gets extra rest and you can use him more in the postseason, so be it. Because he is the most used guy in that pen. But I think, let's not dwell on that. Let's focus on the lineup actually coming back to life when the Mets needed them to most. I believe everyone got a hit except for Brandon Nimmo, but he had a good series all around. Dan Vogelbach, I know it was a completely inconsequential 10th run to pour it on, but he needed that hit big time. That last RBI single in the 9th, he was the only guy that hadn't really joined the party, so I was happy for him. And then Alonso looked great again in the 2-hole. And Lindor gets 4 RBIs. This was just exactly what the doctor ordered for the Metropolitans.
I agree. It was a good one, a really good one. It sealed up the series for the Mets, which was huge. They got a little bit of momentum going after just felt like, the world was ending. The season was ending. This one felt real to me as far as not the season ending, but it was definitely a downturn in their play.
Yeah.
I thought they played really well. Errorless baseball, which is nice.
Yeah,
it was a good day for the New York Mets. And
it was one of those days where they could actually control their fate too, because by taking both games of the doubleheader, they ensure they keep the NL East lead for now. And the apple of our eye is incredibly difficult because for once we have an outpouring of offense, a bunch of great performances by our position players, and 2 great starts. It's tough.
Yep. Yeah. I'm curious to see where you're going to go. I think I know, but I'll let you go first, and then I'll play off of you.
Well, before I tell you that, I got to tell you who's bringing it to us today, and it is a new sponsor.
Who's bringing it to us?
Yeah, I think it's one that our Mets hitters were using because they improved so much in this series. It is Win Reality bringing us today's apple of our eye. Thank you to them for sponsoring us. They have a pitcher library consisting of 600 plus pitchers from 8U to Pro for any hitter to step into the box against and get an active, realistic simulation. From the release to the spin to the speed, hitters get a chance to study every pitch, then hit it in the real game. They give players all levels of a variety of workouts that are focused on pitch recognition, timing, and decision making. I use this for my blitzball skills, and now I'm much, much better. You guys will just have to wait and see and take my word for it. Hitters love it. Coaches rave about it. Parents love what it has done for the players' enjoyment of baseball. Here's one of their facts. Players who train with Win Reality report 43% more confidence at the plate, and they acquire skills 7 times faster than traditional training methods. I don't know how they measure that, but they said it, so it's got to be true.
I was going to ask, but thank you for sponsoring.
It's got to be true. Head to winreality.com/Shea to sign up today at a discounted rate. And thank you to them for sponsoring today's Apple of Our Eye. Jerry, do you want to go first, or should I take it away?
You take it.
Okay. A lot of good choices here. I'm going to give it to one that may be considered surprising. I'm not going to give it to our pitchers, but they combined for 14 innings and 1 earned run, 18 Ks for Bassitt and deGrom, so they did great in their own right. I'm going to give mine to Tyler Naquin. A round of applause. Jerry,
wow, that was an upset. Okay.
That's the reaction I was expecting.
Now I've got a choice.
Yeah.
Why are you giving it to Mr. Naquin?
Well, Naquin had one of the roughest stretches of any Mets hitter in this lineup, lost a bunch of playing time. He had entered the Pittsburgh series 2 for his last 30 with 17 strikeouts, and kind of had lost the faith of the Mets brass, wasn't getting a lot of starts. And Marte goes down in the first game with that hit by pitch. We don't know what the situation is quite yet. So Naquin kind of had to step up and was forced into at-bats, and he could have continued that skid. Instead, he goes 5 for 11 with 2 runs, a double, a homer, 4 RBI, and a hit by pitch. I think those numbers could have been even better with the at-bats he was taking and the way he was driving the ball. I think this was a big confidence booster for him. We haven't seen a lot of production from Vogelbach and Ruff, and we need one of these guys to step up because I think Pete has suffered without great protection behind him, and he's having his own struggles. But having a DH there, or having that fourth outfielder produce the way we need them to, and just lengthening the lineup even more than it already has. Tyler Naquin came up big in this series. This was a team that he's traditionally hit really well against, a park that he hit well in, and I'm glad that he actually got to see regular at-bats in this series, and he made Pirates pitchers pay. I thought I'm not going to get a ton of opportunities to give my apple to Tyler Naquin, and he came up with some huge hits, including that 3-run homer that kind of kick-started the entire thing for the Mets in the first game of the doubleheader, so he is the apple of my eye.
I like it. So I'm at a loss here.
Okay.
I'm not sure where I'm going to go, but I'm gonna talk them. I'm going to talk through both of them, and then I'll decide at the end.
Cool.
Number 1 is Eduardo Escobar. He was 7 for 12 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBI, a walk. He had the big home run. That was, really nice to see him. 7 for 12 is no joke of a series. He's got a 6-game hitting streak where he's 10 for 19 with 4 walks, 3 home run, and 6 RBI in his last 6 games. That is putting it together, and it's at such a timely point of the season where we need him. We need Escobar to kind of bounce back, and you can see what it's done for our lineup. Yeah. It just creates another threat. I can't stress enough how much his return to form would benefit this Mets lineup as a whole. Switch hitter, power. We don't have a lot of power on our team. That would be nice. So that, and I'm going between him and Chris Bassitt. Chris Bassitt, in a time of desperate need, goes 7, gives up 1 run on 10 punch outs and 1 walk. He really only had 1 little hiccup, and that was 1 inning. He scattered 5 hits, but I think 3 of them were in that 1 inning.
Yep.
He only gave up 1. In a time where the Mets needed him to do that, he did that because we had that 3-game skid. We had Taiwan we were hoping to do it, and he got beat up early, and so it could have been like this.
Yeah.
But instead, Bassitt shuts the door, and he does it with authority, and I appreciate it. So I'm not sure where to go
I kind of put you in a pickle here. I didn't even
I
realize.
know. I thought you were for sure going Escobar, but I do like the Naquin. I'm going to go Escobar. I'm going to go
Okay.
Escobar as the apple of my eye. Mainly because I love Bassitt. I'm a big Seabass fan.
Of
It
course.
was huge outing. But I want this to catch fire for Escobar. And as little as this apple is, I hope this tiny apple grows into a giant apple that he just takes over and has this regression back to the norm and just has a bunch of homers.
Yeah.
7 for 12 is no small feat. It's very nice. So I hope this is a bright future for him as a Met.
Yeah, I mean, even if he just rounds out this last month, it's going to mean so much to this Mets lineup having him at the bottom there. Sneaky 6-game hit streak where he's 10 for 19. He drew 4 walks, which is it's small. It's small on the scale, but that's big because
I tell you what, that he wouldn't be at the bottom of the lineup
yeah,
if he starts to hit. Buck will put him right back into protecting Alonso.
yeah,
Alonso, if he stays in the 2 spot, would be fine. Lindor is the 3 spot. Shout out to Lindor for just
yeah.
being that steady pulse of the New York Mets. But if he can slide into the 4 spot, that'll bump McNeil down, or whatever the case may be. This guy's a game changer for the Mets.
Yeah, he just gives the Mets options, and like it's a really good problem to have because Guillorme's return is on the horizon as well, so you're going to get even more options on top of that. The biggest thing is that Escobar's hitting from the left side of the plate now, and that's just been gone the entire. Even when he was good in April, that kind of wasn't really a factor, and he had a couple huge hits from the left side, which was really nice to see.
Yeah, you sandwich Lindor. You basically sandwich Pete Alonso with 2 switch hitters.
Yeah,
That's you can't prepare for it. You got to bring in a righty, and if they're both crushing from the left side, that's huge because Pete Alonso can take his walks, take his hits the other way, and then let the guys in front of him and behind him drive him in. So.
well, speaking of Lindor, he has another great series after kind of a slow one against Washington. 3 for 11, 2 doubles, a run, 3 RBI, and a walk. He's up to
2 more
89.
doubles.
4 doubles?
No, I meant he just hit another couple more doubles.
I was like, what? Hang on.
What?
Did my math wrong?
No, he had 2
Unbelievable.
doubles. You're right.
He's up to 89 ribeye steaks. That's the second highest total of his career, right behind 2018. He's getting close there. One guy we got to talk about is a guy that recently got his batting average above the Mendoza line for the first time this year. I'm very happy to be talking positively about James McCann. 3 for 6. 3 runs and 3 walks in this series. Some really good at-bats from McCann, who is in this hottest streak of the year. I think he's batting 500 in September. And listen, I don't think we were ever factoring in a great McCann performance into the ensuing run for this Mets playoff team. But if he comes through, then there's no hole in this lineup. And then you're really talking about one of the most potent offenses here if he can really get it going. And I think just it's good for McCann as a human being too, because he's I feel like one of the most beloved guys in the clubhouse. He sort of has that leader aspect to him. And if he can really produce as well as call some great games, that's going to be huge for the Mets.
I agree. It was nice to see him, but I'm going to hold off on praise.
I know. I'm jumping the gun.
For a little. Hey, again, I'm a positive guy too. I like McCann. I enjoyed our interactions in spring training a couple years ago. 1 year ago, I guess. It felt like could have been 5.
God, that's
but I'm rooting for him. But again, this is the apple we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I know. You can't just give the apple to anybody. They really
yeah. I was going to say. So this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to get him into that.
But maybe he'll get there soon. Who knows? Mark Canha does it all again. 3 for 11, 2 doubles, 3 runs, walk, and a hit by pitch because it is Mark Canha, of course. I think he's up to 18 on the season now, which is insane. And then Jacob deGrom, as always, 7 shutout innings, 8 punchies there. That was the perfect combination for that doubleheader to get that sweep, Bassitt and deGrom. The Mets get their 18th shutout of the season that leads MLB. They've swept 5 doubleheaders in the same season for the first time since 1969. And I don't remember what happened that year, but it seems
it's like a miracle or something.
I don't know. It doesn't seem that important. It's so long ago. Who cares at this point? And the Mets are getting some more reinforcements. We say that every episode as we continue to wait for Tyler McGill, who got bumped up to AAA Syracuse, so he's inching his way back. Joey Lucchesi just got bumped up to Double-A. Didn't have a great outing in his first go, but he's still getting stretched out. And Max Scherzer, who we thought was maybe going to make his next start, instead decides to head to the IL, calling his injury left side irritation. Jerry, can you enlighten me on Scherzer's decision here? Give some wisdom to Mets fans who might be worried.
Yeah, and the worry is legit because, when Scherzer said that he was probably going to make his next start, I found that to be super telling because normally you would leave that kind of open-ended and ambiguous.
Right.
So the fact that he actually said, I plan on making my next start and then didn't, that compounded like the feeling that the Mets were on the precipice of falling into the abyss was because that kind of blindsided us. So I was a little bit shocked to see that he went on the IL. I thought it was obviously precautionary. There's no oblique injury. It's irritation and fatigue, and they're extra cautious. This is abundance of caution. I think it's the smart move. I wish they would have not said that he was going to make his next start, because then it would have been like, yeah, sure, throw him on the IL. It's fine. That's what you should do. But they gave us a glimmer of hope. So I really don't think it's anything more than what everybody thought it was, once he said fatigue.
Yeah.
So I expect him to be coming right off the IL when he's capable of doing so. But again, it's a little scary because you're running out of time on the calendar to do, to get back to form.
Yeah. So he's probably going to be slated to miss 2 starts because I think he's got 11 more days to hit that 15-day mark. But it does mean another chance for David Peterson to hang around in this rotation and really try and get himself in that playoff spot. And I mean, we saw some real shaky outings from Taijuan Walker. Cookie's still ramping up, but he didn't look great against the Nationals. I think it's going to be kind of a dogfight to get that Game 4 spot. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I think so. And I think Bassitt talked about in his postgame last night or yesterday. Yeah, last night. Asked about Scherzer, and he says, Peterson has earned his spot here. And throughout a season, because of how baseball is, you're going to get those opportunities. So he's like, I've been so impressed with Peterson, and so am I. I honestly can't speak highly enough on his makeup of what I've seen from him from an intangible standpoint. The ability was there, and I think he's eclipsed that with what I've seen, but mostly with his approach to the game and how he's handled his role. I've been so impressed. So I'd love to see him have a great outing, just kind of something to reward such great work and mental work and team first approach. So yeah, I think he's still in the conversation for that 4th rotation spot. So
yeah. And this is going to be a big series coming up in Miami because we did mention deGrom and Bassitt took the doubleheader. That means the other 3 heads of the Mets rotation are going to be taken over in Miami, including David Peterson, Carrasco, and Walker. But we will, for once, thank God, dodge Sandy Alcantara, who is pitching tonight against the Phillies. We're not going to face him in Miami. I think it might be the first Mets-Marlins series this year where we don't have to face Sandy, which is such a relief.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild because I love watching a pitch, but apparently not against the Braves because they rocked. It didn't matter.
I got that text from you. I couldn't believe. I was irate. I'm not going to fault him.
Brave. I was like, how mad are you at Sandy Alcantara right now?
I just need a team to take one game against them.
What if he hates the Mets so much that he did on purpose?
Do you really think he's more of a Braves fan than a Mets fan? Come on.
Willing to sabotage his Cy Young candidacy.
Just to ensure we don't get the division.
Mets.
Unbelievable.
All right. You ready for let's looking ahead to this 3-game series against those Miami Marlins that we talked about. Game 1, David Peterson filling in for injured Max Scherzer, injured or fatigued. You be the decider. Peterson 7-3 with a 3.32 ERA. He'll be facing off against Edward Cabrera, who is 4-2 with a 2.39. He is electric, by the way.
Yeah,
absolutely fun to watch. Max effort, lot of funk. Really good stuff. Of course, he's a pitcher, young one from Miami who has electric stuff. The Mets will avoid Sandy, who you talked about. Cabrera has 23 scoreless innings streak snapped by the Dodgers in his final August start. He went 5 innings with just a solo home run and a no decision versus Atlanta. He was the only one that they didn't hit. And Peterson versus Miami this year, 12 and a third innings, 2 earned runs on 10 hits, 2 walks, 15 punchies, and a solo home run. That is game 1. Game number 2, Cookie Carrasco looking for a big bounce back. He's 13-6 with a 3.91 ERA. He'll go up against Pablo Lopez, who's had an up and down season, mostly up though. He's 8-9 with a 3.66 ERA. Carrasco returned from the IL last start, but was chased in the third after accumulating a bunch of pitches. Lopez's last 2 starts versus the Dodgers and the Braves, he went 10, allowed 4 runs on 10 hits, 13 punchies, and 4 walks. His ERA of 9 and 3 starts versus New York this year is pretty impressive if you like those things. Carrasco versus Miami is on the other side of that. He's 3-0 with 19 2/3 innings and only 5 earned runs, scattering 19 hits and 19 punch-outs. That is game number 2. Game number 3, Taijuan Walker looking for a bounce back. His last 3 starts against the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Pirates, he's gone 15 1/3, giving up 9 earned runs, 11 Ks, and an alarmingly high 7 walks. He's going against Jesus Luzardo, who came over in the A's trade. He's 3-6 with a 3.36 ERA. He's had a tale of 2 seasons. He started off really rocky, went on the IL for a long stretch. The lefty power arm has really looked good over his last 4 starts. 26 1/3 innings pitched, a 2.73 ERA, 24 strikeouts to 8 walks. That's Luzardo. His career versus the Mets, not quite as nice as that last 4 starts line. He's 10 2/3 with 5 earned runs, 6 hits, 7 walks, and 13 Ks. That is your game 3. That is the 3-game set in Miami.
Very nice as always. Just want to say that the Marlins should be worried because the Mets are 2-0 in the Bob era with our guy Steve Gelbs, our new friend Bob, who was swarming Steve after he caught the foul ball in Game 2. I just had to give Bob a shout out. And Steve, best on-field reporter in the game.
Bob's been a Mets fan since 1962.
Good year to start. Since the beginning, Bob is.
From the jump, he's been a Metropolitans fan.
We got to get Bob on the show. I think that's the logical next step.
He would be willing.
Yeah, he's got a webcam, right? Come on, Bob.
I'm going to send you out on assignment to go interview him one-on-one.
Go find Bob. Where do you say?
You and Jack, the 2 Jacks on the road.
Road trip to get Bob on screen. Yeah,
2 Jacks chasing Bob.
Well, I know, right? That's kind of it's like a movie script. I feel like it's perfect.
I love that. I mean, that's again, this is what the SNY crew have been doing all year. They've been doing special things, but this is another one of those snapshots of just fun because Gelbs was great with him. The booth back and forth, the genuine personality showing with the laughs and stuff. Another great SNY, little piece.
Who did you enjoy more, the Bob from Game 2 or the Cup Snake guy from Wrigley Field? Do you remember that? That was great.
I like the Cup Snake guy.
Basically, the 8th inning. That was my favorite. That was so good.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, that's Emmy award winning.
Yeah, I've never been part of the Cup Snake. It looks pretty hard. Honestly, it looks like it was getting heavy over there a little bit.
Steve said it was getting heavy.
Yeah,
I mean, he needs to do some more rotator cuff work, some shoulders. Yeah.
Got to coach him a little bit. Yeah, the Mets are playing the Marlins. They're 10-4 against them this year. Meanwhile, the Braves go to Seattle and they play the Mariners, who have won 8 of their last 10. I'm just begging for a team to take 1 game against the Braves. Just take 1. Even if you lose a series, 1 win would help us a ton. It's going to be a great race. The Braves got into a tie with us. Now we got that half game up. They're both off today, so the Mets fans can actually breathe a little bit and just take a sigh of relief before getting back into the hunt. And a big series for the latter half of the rotation for sure as we await Scherzer to come back. And I think that's everything, Jerry. What do you got?
That's the big 3 candidates, vying for their spot in the postseason life of the New York Mets rotation.
It's audition season.
It's big time. I think Peterson finds a role no matter what. I think he'll be either in the bullpen or in the rotation. I'm not sure Cookie or Taijuan, can come out of the bullpen and be effective. Maybe Cookie. I don't know. But I definitely think this is the battle. Again, this isn't it, but this is, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Kind of thing when it comes down to the playoffs. The Braves are finally playing like, a really good team. The Mariners are hot in the streets themselves. And I wonder, does Paulie Sewald hate the Mets so much that he'll sabotage his own season to spite the Mets? We'll see
that's
that.
more plausible than Sandy, I think. That makes a lot of sense.
I agree. This
Wow.
one will he be like
If
from Seattle? Will he do this from Seattle?
If he gives up a run, we're blaming you because you put that in everyone's minds. Now. That's
It's not
crazy.
my fault.
You know what? You spoke it into existence. Now it's a thing. It's got to be true. There's no way I can unsee it now. Oh God, that's pretty good.
The last thing I want to do is anything. The Braves offense doesn't need me to fire them up.
Yeah, I mean the A's gave them a run for their money in that 10-9 game. I couldn't believe
Plus,
the home runs
they
are hitting.
kind of jumped on Strider a little bit. Not really, but they made him throw a bunch of pitches in the first. I thought they were going to chase him early. Didn't work out that way, but the A's got some fight in them.
They're sneaky. Maybe they can make a run at the end. A little playoff run. Who knows?
Elephants aren't that fast, but they put together some fight.
I also think they're already eliminated, which they got eliminated. Damn, Jack just told me. Yeah.
Official? Oh, boy. That's early.
They're already out. Sorry, A's fans. There is some overlap here. I think there definitely is. We're
So
partisan.
are the Nationals eliminated as well?
I think they're out too, yeah. I think there's like 3 teams that are out. Are the Rockies out? No? I don't know. Anyway, the Mets aren't out, so you can look forward to that.
That's true.
All right, man. You got anything else?
That's it.
All right.
For Jolly and Jack, I'm Jerry. And for Bob as well.
And for Bob. Don't forget
Let's
about
go
Bob.
Mets.
Jack, do the noise.
I can't hear you over the music, so I don't know if you asked me a question.
You're good.